All right, Senate Democrats have manufactured another boogeyman.
After last week's stunningly radical decision by the Alabama Supreme Court jeopardizing IVF access, the United States has become an embarrassment to the world. The decision by the Alabama Supreme Court is as cruel as it is enraging.
Can I tell you what is the real embarrassment to America? I'm not going to say it. All right, that was Senate Scare Leader Chuck Schumer earlier today as Democrats have proposed legislation they claim, emphasis is on they claim, creates federal protections for in vitro fertilization, even though it's not being threatened. In reality, this bill, read it for yourself, as written, raises numerous moral and bioethical issues that go far beyond ensuring the IVF issue. Now, here are the facts. No state legislature has attempted to ban IVF, nor has any bill been proposed in Congress which would ban IVF, nor did the Alabama Supreme Court decision put it in jeopardy. In fact, it has no regulation for the most part. IVF, it needs to, but it's not under assault. The left is seizing on this opportunity to push some crazy stuff. Actually, this is like Frankenstein, what they're pushing. Joining me now to discuss this and more, Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith from Mississippi. She serves on 4 Senate committees, including the Senate Committee on Appropriations. She's also the chair of the Senate Pro-Life Caucus. And just moments ago, she went to the floor to object to the Democrats' effort to push this bill forward. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to see you.
Well, thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity. I truly appreciate that.
So I watched you on the floor. We were just about to go on the air, and I know that this actually still being debated, so you're joining us by phone. You exposed what they were doing here. You went down the list of what this bill actually does. Share that with our listeners and our viewers.
Well, you know, it really, they had a lot of misinformation out there, and they're just attempting to exploit the emotions that are associated with IVF to pass their legislation, which, as you said, I revealed is very flawed. And, you know, all the while hiding the harmful provisions in the bill and ultimately harming families. But the thing that concerned me the most was to force the religious entities to violate their beliefs.
Right.
And to put out there, and that would just totally take away the Religious Freedoms Restoration Act.
Right, that's the first piece of...
I just couldn't let them get away with that.
This is the first piece of legislation that explicitly waives the Religious Freedom Restoration Act going back to the 1990s, which Chuck Schumer was a supporter of back in the 90s. But as you pointed out on the Senate floor, this legalizes something that we have been fighting for many years, and that is human cloning, which is already prohibited in many states. This would wipe those prohibitions away and legalize human cloning. It allows gene editing, or the so-called designer babies. It legalizes this Frankensteinian type of creation of human-animal hybrids, these chimeras. This stuff is unbelievable, and they're not talking about this on the Senate floor, are they?
Well, they weren't until I got there. And, you know, you just have to really keep an eye on that they were just looking for the opportunity to get these things in there that would legalize that while playing on everybody and saying, you know, we just can't believe you don't support the IVF and, you know, how cruel and horrible that is. So somebody has to go to the floor and just really put it in clear terms that it did not ban IVF, nor has any state banned IVF.
Right.
And, I mean, I am a total supporter of that. My nephew and his wife have 3 beautiful children because of IVF. And, you know, no one on the Republican side that I can name you is in opposition of that. But to have a bill that had such overreach and, I mean, full of things that went way beyond, far beyond ensuring legal access to IVF, it's just, I'm sure, part of the overall climate of being in a presidential election that they really wanted to drill that home and to make it out for things that certainly it did not contain.
So, very quickly, Senator, what are the next steps? They wanted unanimous consent, meaning they could just advance it. You objected to that. So, where does this leave them?
Well, of course, they're going to have to start over. To CR something that would legalize human cloning, just instantly do it and it becomes always pretty incredible to start with. But they're going to have to start over. We're going to have to go through the committee process of anything that they want to do, and you just can't go to the floor and make sure it just passes with nobody in the chamber, that nobody is there to, I guess how you would say, call them out on it,
right,
and present the true facts of what's going on. And it's kind of like the Trojan horse.
Yeah.
It was full of things that no one was aware of, and they didn't want you to be aware of it. But we did the right thing by going down and objecting, and thankfully that the process allows for that we can stop it in its tracks.
Well, you certainly did, and I appreciate you going down there and raising the awareness of what the bill actually does. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, thanks so much for joining us today. Great to talk with you.
Great. Thank you so much.